Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you. Over.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Delusions of Grandeur. And I'm your host, David Strege, and here I have another video collection for you where sometimes I share reviews of the films, whatnot, and just small ones, not full ones, not detailed ones, but I still share some small stuff every so often, and I just enjoy sharing with you my collection as I get it and as I'm showing them to you, because I have a lot more to show to you because I just have a whole heck of a lot. So thank you for listening to my video collection videos ahead of time. So recently I just got a small box, maybe about a week or so ago, and I'm gonna do this one with some of the latest mail and some things that I realized I hadn't gone on about that I pulled out of my collection. So in any case, so the first thing that I had here, I had actually opened this package already, so don't mind me. The first is a box set from Arrow, and it's the original 3 Ringu Japanese movies. So you've got these are the original films that came out in Japan, and it's just a cool, nice set. This is the limited edition. It's a brand new 4K transfer of, I believe, all three movies. So I unpackaged. This was actually brand new. It actually was still in the package from my friend Tito, and I've watched most of the first one so far. I still have yet to watch the other two transfers, but so far so good, and I'm enjoying watching these because I remember the remakes, and I saw the remakes first more than I saw the original. I swear I saw the first one in this box set at least once, because I remember parts of it. And I have the Ringu Anthology box set, or they came out with a set with 4 movies on it, and I believe Ringu was among it. And I think I watched it once. I didn't get around to watching the other 2 because over time I've learned how to watch subtitled films. I honestly I'm in the middle. It's like I'm getting used to reading while I'm watching films, and I know there's a lot of people who actually prefer the subtitled to the bad English dubs, but to me, if they take the time and they have the money to do so, you're best to find the best people, voice actors to go and dub these voices. You want to pick people that are right for the voices. And it's unfortunate, but there are a lot of Japanese made into U.S. versions that have terrible dubs where the voices don't seem to go with the people and things of that nature. So um, this version of the ring, seems to be a creepier version, more or less because of the people that are involved. I mean, I guess one thing that I would like to say of note of the first film, since I was watching it, is that you don't you don't get that the one guy is the father of the child of the newswoman who went and watched the movie first, and you don't see him watch the movie. But you don't get that he is the father until he actually says it when they're out and about trying to search down the people behind the video. In any case, there we have this arrow set. So that's one of the first things I wanted to show. The next thing I wanted to show is this is a really nice limited edition copy of from Arrow of An American Werewolf in London. Look at that cover. That is amazing. I love that cover. It came with a poster. Now this is Blu-ray only, but look at this book. Isn't that cool? I mean, it's got a cool book with photos and stuff like that. Alrighty, and then let me show you this poster. On the one side, it's got a poster of the front of this Blu-ray adaptation, and then it's got on the other side. That is one of the original posters for the film. So just beautiful. I mean, I love that these come with posters and whatnot. But that being said, this is a movie about two friends who evidently are backpacking in the foothills of Scotland, and they come across a town that seems to have its own secrets. And what happens is one of the boys is attacked and killed, and becomes one of the undead, dead, and apparently this is one of the first films that has something to do with werewolves that interjects that once you've been killed by a werewolf, you're forever you forever walk the earth until the werewolf that bit you is in fact indeed dead. And I guess it's kind of unique that in this film, all the victims of the werewolves end up kind of being haunting him, the guy who was just bitten, and his name is David. So it's funny that his name is David, and yet in real life his actor name is David Naughton. So ultimately, after this violent attack, David wakes up in a hospital, and he starts to fall in love with the nurse and in charge of him, and the nurse takes him home. Um, I guess in 2 days' time is the next full moon, and he goes through a transformation. Well, um, ultimately, the transformation effects of this werewolf is phenomenal. Is groundbreaking, supposedly. Um, at the time, nothing like this had ever been entirely done, and I guess there was some. Um, I love how during the transformation you can actually see how long the hands get, how long the arms get. You can see um, that the hair follicles are growing longer. The fingernails are growing longer and curved. You can see the haunches start to come in. The snout comes out, and the teeth start to grow. This is a slow transformation, and this is one of the first times you actually see the person transforming is actually in pain instead of just slow pictures of them being transformed into whatever it is. And there's a specific scene in this film that I really like, where um, apparently David has met with his best friend um, in a porn theater. And it turns out he's introducing him to all his other victims of the night before. And they're all telling him all the different ways he could kill himself because that's what they're all trying to tell him to do. Just the only way that he can fix it is killing himself. So ultimately, this movie ends on a sour note. It doesn't really give you a happy ending, but this was a very good introduction into the werewolf genre, and I feel like it paved the way for some other werewolf films too. Before I bought this and this arrived, I had this edition of um, An American Werewolf in London. It is the full moon edition, and it was put out by Universal. So this was a 2-disc, I believe, copy. Yeah, it is a 2-disc. So you just have to bear in mind that that's where it originally came from. So I like that I have this copy, and I like that I have the other copy. So I wanted to show you that copy since that is um, one of the copies of films that I had not shown as of yet. So I hope you enjoy me showing some of these. So I have 3 other films here. Um, this is a standalone copy of Ringu that I got. It doesn't have a white cover; it has this cover. So I kept this because this is the special edition version, and it has a little less. But I might never open this um, again. So uh, here is the special edition version of An American Werewolf in London, which as soon as I get done videotaping this video collection, this is going in my fiance's collection because she does not have a copy of this film as of yet. And I believe that I have everything that's on this edition and more on the limited edition version. So, yeah. Then we have Apprenticed Apprentice to Murder, which, as you can see, this is still in its plastic. In early 20th century Pennsylvania Dutch country, young Billy Kelly, played by Chad Lowe, a Highway to Hell, falls in with a charismatic powwower or folk magic healer, Dr. John Reese, played by Donald Sutherland from Don't Look Now, shunned by the rest of the community for his nonconformist beliefs. Together they investigate the mysterious sickness that is blighting the area, which Reese believes to be the work of a sinister local hermit. But as the plague spreads and the wide-eyed Billy falls ever under Reese's spell, are they doing God's work or the devil's bidding? Also starring Mia Sara from Legend, and featuring a powerhouse performance by Donald Sutherland, reunited here with Don't Look Now screenwriter Alan Scott. Apprentice to Murder is a chilling and unforgettable tale of the macabre that blurs the lines between conventional notions of good and evil. So there we have it, Apprentice to Murder. I have not seen this yet, so bear with me. I do not have a review of this film. Next, I have it's a fairly expensive set to get from Arrow called The Complete Sartana, and this delves into films that imitated the Man with No Name trilogy. So Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name spawned imitations, variations, and shameless rip-offs keen to emulate his success at the box office. Within months of a fistful of dollars release, Giuliano Gemma was playing Ringo, who was then followed by Franco Nero's Django, Tony Anthony's The Stranger, and Gianni Garco's Sartana, each providing their own twist on the Eastwood anti-hero, and each of them then subject to their own spate of unofficial sequels, spoofs, and cash-ins. Sartana tapped into more than just his spaghetti western predecessors. A mysterious figure who has a spectral quality, aided by his Count Dracula-like cloak, which also nods towards comic strip figure Mandrake the Magician, with whom he shares a penchant for card tricks. He takes pride in his appearance, unlike the Eastwood Dusty Wanderer or Nero's mud-caked Drifter. And there's a dose of James Bond, too, in his fondness for gadgetry and the droll sense of humor. Unsurprisingly, the unique figure in the genre was treated to four official follow-ups. The Complete Sartana collects all 5 films presented here in the brand new restorations. If you meet Sartana, pray for your death. I am Sartana, your angel of death. Have a good funeral, my friend. Sartana will pay. Light the fuse, Sartana is coming. And Sartana's here. Trade your pistol for a coffin, in which George Hilton replaced Garco in the lead role. So apparently these are all made into 2K restorations, and you're probably looking at a good $60 to $90 whenever you're coming across this set. It is still in its plastic because I have not as yet approached this set to watch, but I will eventually take my time and do something like that in the near time future. So the next film set, I believe it's a 5-film set. It's called Female Prisoner Scorpion, the complete set. And I just want to still in its plastic. And I'm just going to read the back of this. And so, starring the iconic and beautiful Mikhail Kaji, Lady Snowblood, and Stray Cat Rock, in a role that came to define her career. The four-film female prisoner Scorpion series charts the vengeance of Nami Matsushima, who assumes the mantle of Scorpion, becoming an avatar of vengeance and survival, and an unlikely symbol of female resistance in a male-dominated world. Female prisoner number 701, Scorpion, introduces Nami, a gullible young woman unjustly imprisoned, who must find a way to escape in order to exact revenge upon the man who betrayed her. The visually avant-garde of female prisoner Scorpion, Jailhouse 41, sees director Shunya Ito and star Miko Kaji reunite as Nami and 6 other female convicts escape prison once more. The gothic horror-inspired Beast stable finds Nami branded public enemy number 1 and on the run. She soon finds refuge with a sympathetic prostitute but runs afoul of a local gang. The final film in the series, 701's Grudge Song, from director Yasuharu Hasib, Retaliation and Massacre Gun, shows a gentler side of Naomi as she falls in with Kudo, an ex-radical suffering from physical and psychological trauma caused by police torture. Spiritual kin to MS-45, Coffee, and The Bride Wore Black, Female Prisoner Scorpion is the pinnacle of early 70s exploitation cinema from Japanese grindhouse studio Toei, and one of the greatest female revenge sagas ever told. So there we have it, Female Prisoner Scorpion, the complete collection. Looking forward to checking that out. I almost bought Lady Snowblood recently. Well, maybe I can still buy it coming up, since Half Price Books has a sale going on, and I believe I did not pick it up from there in particular. I'll probably pick it up myself. So I'm just going to put this, in American Werewolf in London, back over somewhere, because I wanted to pit that one in with the stuff that came. So this is all the stuff that came in that box. So definitely a cool little box that came from my friend Tito. So thank you so much. Okay, so pretty sure that I did not go on about this one yet, but this one has several short films on here from Cannibal Films. Director Peter Baestor, who was currently from where is that from? Venezuela, Brazil. He is a Brazilian horror film director, but this one's a weird one. Varias do Sexo Sangrento, Bloody Orgy Orama. It's a gore splatter thing. And these are three sick Brazilian. So we've got Fragmentos de Uma Vida and 2000 Anospera Iso. So I have this same film from Balhogia Productions, which Gershis Godner is the producer behind. So this is number 15 out of 30 copies made of this. So I'm looking forward to checking this out when I get a chance. I found this Blu-ray of this film that is a sequel to an earlier film called Criminally Insane. And this is directed by Brian Dorton. And it's called Crazy Fat Ethel. So in 1975, Nick Millard, who evidently is the director of Criminally Insane, introduced us to Crazy Fat Ethel in the cult drive-in horror classic, as we said. Fast forward more than 40 years later, writer-director Brian Dorton insists that it's time to revisit this larger-than-life character in an all-new revision. After a scandal in a mental institution, Ethel, played by Dixie Gers, is taken in by her Aunt Joyce, played by Jenny Coulter. Many people, including the head nurse, played by Kelly Ellis, and a determined detective, Bill Nugent, believe that letting Ethel leave the hospital was a huge mistake. Pun intended. So, evidently, this was put out by Real Epic Entertainment, which apparently is Brian Dorton's production company, with a runtime of 82 minutes. This is a Blu-ray of this film, and I picked it up for about $5-6. So definitely check it out on eBay if you get a chance. Next, I have this Yeti Experiment. Not sure if I went on about this yet. It's a Mark Polonia film, and it was originally called Frozen Sasquatch. The Yeti Experiment, Frozen Sasquatch. Scientists investigate mysterious disappearances at a research base where it has been reported a savage creature was spotted. The team discovers the dark secrets and experiments being secretly performed, and the deadly outcome: a lone survivor is not who she appears to be. And clues to the massacre at the base lead to a shocking discovery, ending in destruction and an out-of-this-world encounter. So, again, a Mark Polonia film called The Yeti Experiment. Next, I've been meaning to pick this up, but it has been so out of print, it is pathetic. These two particular films are called Addicted to Murder 1 and 2. They are directed by I believe Kevin Lindermuth. Yeah, Kevin Lindermuth directed both of these films, and the films star Mick McCleary, Laura McLaughlin, and Sasha Graham. So, Addicted to Murder. What happens when a serial killer encounters something far worse than himself, when he discovers the real reason why he kills? The answer lies with his childhood friend Rachel. For most of his life, Joel has been obsessed with Rachel, constantly searching for the same type of twisted relationship. Then he meets Angie, who is from the same breed as Rachel, and soon learns his true identity. He discovers he is a hunter, a vampire. Addicted to Murder 2, Tainted Blood. The vampire is very selective upon whom it chooses to bestow the gift of eternal life. However, there is one rogue vampire who is turning people into vampires who aren't worthy of the gift. It's up to Angie to find this vampire and put an end to these creatures with tainted blood. So there we have it, Addicted to Murder 1 and 2. I paid about $40 for this set, plus shipping. I mean, it's damn shame that you actually have to pay like that kind of money for that kind of film. So This is a film called The Dark Days of Demetrius. It's the newest film by Dakota Ray, who used to be called Dakota Bailey, from Colorado. So forgive me if I take a moment to read this because the words are very dark. The Dark Days of Dimitri, the sixth full-length feature from Denver auteur filmmaker Dakota Ray, is a disturbing lo-fi horror film revolving around the exploits of Dimitri, played by Dakota Ray, an elusive narcissistic serial killer who has gained stardom from live streaming the murders of his victims online, with the press dubbing him as the live stream killer. Conflict arises when Demetrius crosses paths with corrupt news reporter Clive Fred Epstein, played by, which results in a cinematic descent into evil, violence, death, narcissism, and corruption. So, The Dark Days of Dimitri. Looking forward to checking this out. Not sure if I went on about these yet, but I'm sure it's kind of cool. I actually went and hunted these down from the directors themselves, from Fake Lacoste Production 2019. So on this says Das Swabian Sagework Massacre 2. So on here, these are both. I believe this is the Polish Sawmill Massacre. That's what 1 and 2, and both of these. The first one is 22 minutes. The second one is 35 minutes, and this third one, which is their newest, is called the Swabian Granny Gore Terror. And as you can see, they are both signed. Very cool artwork. I really love these. And you know another thing that I like about these? You see these are actually pressed. So I'm pretty ecstatic that these are actually factory pressed discs. And I believe these cost me about 42 pounds, which in Germany isn't too bad. So looking forward to those. I still have to figure out the director. Next, I know I have a double feature of the first two, but they eventually came out with a triple feature of La Llorona. So here we have La Llorona, the Wailer. Then we have La Llorona 2, the Wailer 2. And then La Llorona 3, the Wailer 3, in something called Wailer Trilogy, Llorona Trilogy. And this is put out by Laguna Productions. So these three are independent films. And I have not, as of yet, I started to watch the first one in the trilogy. But watching it on computer is actually kind of hard. So this kind of enters like TV series. This is the original 11th hour season. This was only a first season with Patrick Stewart, where he plays a scientist that goes around solving crimes. Patrick Stewart, X-Men, Star Trek: The Next Generation, brings his commanding screen presence to the role of Ian Hood, special scientific troubleshooter for the British government. A brilliant professor with a taste for danger, Hood has the scientific acumen analytical skills, and passion for justice that makes him the ideal expert on call in a crisis. Backed by his tough-minded bodyguard Rachel Young, played by Ashley Jensen of Topsy Turvy and Extras, Hood takes on rogue cloners, ruthless polluters, resurgent viruses, and other menaces at the very frontiers of contemporary science. Created by acclaimed sci-fi writer Stephen Gallagher of Doctor Who, 11th Hour delivers high-energy investigations that will keep you on the edge of your seat. And I ended up paying like $6.99 for this at Half Price Books. So, a friend of mine, an African American friend, who runs a very cool group here on Facebook, told me about this film, and I found it online. Now, this used to be a library rental, so that's why it looks like it does. And when I bought it for $19.99, I was very disappointed in the condition of the discs. I mean, you can see the light scratches on the discs. This came from Kansas City Public Library originally, and it doesn't even say discarded on it. So I'm almost wondering. Now, this particular disc right here, this first disc, actually doesn't look too bad, but you can still see some light scratches on there if you look real closely. So I was fairly disappointed in this, but I still kept it for some reason. It's called Killer of Sheep, and it's called the Charles Burnett Collection. According to an American Masterpiece Independent to the Bone, Manahola Dargis from New York Times. One of the 100 essential films, National Society of Film Critics. So this has two things on here. Killer of Sheep from 1977, and this also has My Brother's Wedding. Apparently, it has the original cut, but it also has the final cut on here from 2007. But the original version of My Brother's Wedding was in 1983. So, a masterpiece of African American filmmaking and one of the finest debuts in cinema history. Killer of Sheep was chosen for the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress and named one of the 100 essential films by the National Society of Film Critics. In the Los Angeles community of Watts, Stan, a sensitive dreamer, is growing detached and numb from the troll of working at a slaughterhouse. Frustrated by money problems, the warmth of a teacup against his cheek, slow dancing with his wife, holding his daughter, combining lyrical moments with noiristic style, Burnett unfolds his story with compassion and humor. Killer of Sheep's luminous images and extraordinary soundtrack are a revelation in this new high-definition transfer from the UCLA Film and Television Archive's brilliant 35mm restoration. Also on here are, in the bonus features, is some of his acclaimed short films. Several Friends from 1969, The Horse from 1973, and When It Rains from 1995. I guess there is a commentary track with Charles Burnett and Richard Pina, program director of the Film Society of Lincoln Center. When My Brother's Wedding was rushed to a festival screening before Burnett could make his final cut, it received mixed reviews and was never released. Film critic Armand White called this a catastrophic blow to the development of American pop culture. revisited decades later, following restoration by the Pacific Film Archive and a complete re-edit by Burnett. My Brother's Wedding proves to be funny, heartbreaking, and timeless. Pierce Mundy works at his parents' South Central dry cleaners with no prospects for the future, and his childhood buddies in prison or dead, with his best friend just getting out of jail and his brother busy planning a wedding to a snooty upper middle class black woman. Pierce navigates his conflicting obligations while trying to figure out what he really wants in life. So, on here are both versions of My Brother's Wedding. There was a Killer of Sheep cast reunion video, and some liner notes by Armand White, and Burnett's newest short, Quiet as Kept, from 2007, which was about 5 minutes long. So there we have it, Killer of Sheep, and this was originally put out by Milestone Video. Also, it seems like they worked with TCM, UCLA, and BAM PFA. It was distributed by New Yorker Video. So, next I have, since we went on about this film a couple of weeks ago, I have my ultimate edition of Dawn of the Dead, which is the best and definitive edition of Dawn of the Dead that I necessarily have. The only other way that I have this film is actually on a UK edition of the trilogy. Take a look at this artwork. I mean, there's artwork on the back. There's artwork here. There's artwork all the way around. So apparently there is a comic book that comes with this. I believe that's a comic book. Give me a sec. Just going to put that right there for, yep, comic book. Just wanted to show a little bit of it. Very different, you know. And then I believe there's a poster here, or a booklet here. Small booklet of the chapters or whatnot, what's on each disc. So the European version, the US theatrical version, and the extended version are all in this particular set here. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 disc set, because there are some documentaries on here as well that I'm sure I can get to eventually, but in due time. So this is one of the Anchor-based sets. I think this is one of the best sets that they actually ever did. They really put a lot into this set. I mean, there's an ultimate set for days that isn't as grand as this set. So, I mean, there is some wear and tear that I've let this go through, but it's still a very cool ultimate edition of the film. Okay, so next I have this film, American Werewolf in Paris. And yes, it does have something to do with American Werewolf in London. It is based on some of the characters. And basically what this does is it has a group of 3 friends who end up visiting Paris. And they've already been touring places. So what happens is apparently Tom Everett Scott, who plays the main character, takes and has an idea that his friends will all bungee jump off the Eiffel Tower. And little do they know that that a a woman that Tom Everett Scott eventually crushes on, um, was played by Julie Delpy, goes and jumps off the Eiffel Tower, and Tom Everett Scott goes and saves her. Well, he wakes up and he goes and tries to find her, and eventually the three young men are invited to a party, and in I guess one of his friends dies from a bite, and it comes back and haunts his butt. Um, and the other friend, they have to pretty much hunt down the werewolf that bit their friend, and he finds out that he was bitten by a werewolf himself, so he begins to turn. And I believe that the special effects in this movie were awesome. It was a phenomenal film at the time. I thought both the special effects and the CGI effects were pretty awesome for the time. I mean, some CGI is actually very good, and some of it just really sucks. And this one just worked for all the right intentions. And a very fast transformation. I mean, this was, but this film also is the first film that introduced the idea that in a werewolf film, in order to turn yourself back to a human, you had to kill the werewolf that bit you. Not just kill them, eat their heart. So, that being the case, this film is one of my personal favorites if I had to talk about werewolf films. So, there we have it, my copy of An American Werewolf in Paris. Now, hopefully, Arrow can get on the ball and put out a copy of this film too, since they've already put one out of An American Werewolf in London. So, okay, moving on. So this was a recent pickup that I went to Walmart for. And this is a box set, a Blu-ray and DVD digital with T-shirt set of Three from Hell, Rob Zombie's newest film. So, I wanted to pull out this T-shirt. I don't think I've fully taken it out yet, and I don't think I really want to, but apparently I can take it out if I wanted to. But yeah, there's the T-shirt. And there's what the DVD, the Blu-ray DVD looks like. I watched it once, but I want to rewatch it before I actually go on about this. So, very self-conscious about going on about films if I haven't watched them more than once. So yeah, there's that. And then there is one more film that I have two different copies of, and there is at least one or two other film copies of this short film that's out there. In fact, this ultimately made it into a box set that I saw a friend make, and it ultimately it was like a lot of money. But this, I paid $35 for it. I was supposed to get it a year ago. It is now going to be part of my collection from Underground Gore electors. Because this is a Blu-ray DVD copy of the short film, and this is a Finnish short film called The Defiler. Set in an alternate splatter punk universe, The Defiler tells a sleazy, depraved, and ruthless tale about a passion, mayhem, love, and revenge. Watch great The Defiler slashing, hacking, cutting, and killing her way through a town covered in filth, piss, scum, and blood. If you love movies like Turbo and Kung Fury or Night Satin and the Loops of Doom, there is no way around the unique ode to the Bulls. So, in any case, I love the look of this artwork. And here, so this is one of the posters that came with. That is Diana Ball, I believe. And here is the other poster that came with. I believe this is a poster that came with the film. This is what the poster looks on the outside of the box. So that is awesome. So yeah, this is the end of the first video that I wanted to go on with recently, because I have another box that I'm going to show that came, a more recent box. Yeah, but I wanted to put much of the recent stuff that I came in mail in this one, so that but anyways, it was apparently the guy behind Underground Gore Electors. He went through a bad divorce and he went through a serious job change. So I understand that, but I was fairly disappointed with how long it took for him to send this on the rebound. It's much more cooler if you for a collector wise if you get it around the same time everyone else does, and once you pay for something, that person should send it no matter. I mean, this was a year later. The last person who did that to me was Todd Sheets, and that was horrible. I mean, come on, man. At least get on the ball about sending shit. Don't act like you were sending shit when you don't. In any case, thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed the way I described some of these. I really enjoyed this Defiler so much that I have now 3 copies. I wish I could track down the other 2-disc that is out there from I believe something called Old School Video or something like that. Old Skull Video put out a 2-disc DVD thing, and I'm pretty sure that they did. But in any case, yeah, I mean, it's amazing how many distributors picked this up. They really liked this film. It's how popular some short films can be. They can get many different editions. And one of these days, maybe I'll do a small video on the Defiler stuff. So, in any case, catch y'all later, and hopefully you enjoy this video. Thank you so much. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Check out all of my videos and all of my reviews coming up. So yeah.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?